Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into some seriously fascinating stuff today.
Oh, I agree.
We're talking about Jacob's blessings.
From the book of Genesis.
You know, the ones he gives to his 12 sons right
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, right before he passes.
Right.
It's Genesis chapter 49.
Now, you might be thinking, ancient blessings? What's that got to do with me?
Yeah, good point.
But stick with us. There's some really timeless wisdom in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so picture this. Jacob, the patriarch of Israel, that's like the OG, the big daddy of this whole family line, he's on his deathbed.
Right.
And instead of just saying, bye, kids, he calls his sons together for this super intense moment.
Yeah, it's not your typical deathbed scene.
No, not at all.
He's basically laying out their destinies.
And not just like vague predictions, but really digging into their personalities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Their strengths, their weaknesses, it's all there.
And it's important to remember, in this ancient context, these blessings, they weren't just nice words. They were believed to have real power.
Oh, yeah, huge implications for each son.
And for their descendants. It shaped the future of these 12 tribes.
That's right. So let's jump into some specifics.
Okay, let's start with Judah, the fourth son.
Ah, yes, Judah.
He's compared to a lion, a powerful image.
And he's promised kingship.
This is huge EE.
It foreshadows the line of kings in Israel, like King David, you know?
Wow, talk about a long-term vision.
And for Christians, it even points towards Jesus.
Okay, now let's talk about Reuben.
Oh, Reuben, the firstborn.
I think he could be the natural leader, right?
Right, primogeniture, the eldest son gets it all.
But nope. He messes up, makes some bad choices in the past.
And boom, he loses his birthright.
That special inheritance, gone.
Jacob's blessing makes it clear. Leadership isn't just about being the oldest.
It's about character.
Yeah, it's about the choices you make.
So are there any other blessings that really jump out at you?
Well, Simeon and Levi, their blessing is a bit rough.
Oh yeah, those two.
They were known for their anger, their violence.
Especially towards the people of Shechem.
Jacob straight up calls their anger fierce.
Yikes.
It earned them a curse, a scattering division.
It makes you think, doesn't it? About how our emotions can have ripple effects.
Definitely. We're not just responsible for ourselves, you know?
It's a legacy thing, right? What we pass on.
Exactly.
Okay, but let's end on a more positive note.
Right.
What about Joseph?
Ah, Joseph. He gets a beautiful blessing.
Compared to a fruitful bough, overflowing with abundance.
Yeah, tons of symbolism there.
Growth, prosperity.
It's amazing considering what he went through.
Seriously. Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, thrown in prison.
Talk about a tough break.
But he never gives up, maintains his integrity, and ultimately rises to power in Egypt.
What a story of resilience.
And forgiveness, too, even after all that.
Right, he doesn't let bitterness consume him.
So we've got these blessings, packed with symbolism, deep insights into human nature.
Totally.
But how do we apply them today? How do we bridge the gap between those ancient times and our modern lives?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And that's exactly what we're going to dig into next. You know, these blessings, they're full of these themes that are just as relevant now as they were back then.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, like legacy, for one.
Legacy, huh?
Yeah, think about it. What kind of impact do we want to leave on the world? It's something we all think about, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Jacob's blessings, they shaped the future of his kids, his grandkids, so on and so forth.
Right, it's like a ripple effect.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Our choices today impact the people around us, the people who come after us. It's like we're all part of this big story, this chain of generations.
Wow, that's deep.
It is. It makes you think about what kind of legacy you're building, right? Through your work, your relationships, everything.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's not just about leaving a mark, it's about self-awareness too, you know?
Self-awareness.
Yeah, remember how Jacob talked about the good and the bad in his sons?
He wasn't sugarcoating anything.
Nope. He was encouraging them to own their strengths and weaknesses.
That's a tough one.
It is. But it's something we all gotta do, right? Take a good hard look in the mirror.
See the good, the bad, the ugly.
Exactly. Because once you see it, you can work with it, you know?
Leverage your strengths, work on your weaknesses. Makes sense.
Right. And then there's leadership. That's a big one.
Ah, leadership. Always a hot topic.
Judah's blessing, the one about kingship, It really challenges our ideas about what a true leader is.
How so?
We often think of leaders as these powerful people at the top, calling the
The
shots.
big bosses.
Yeah, but Jacob's blessing suggests that true leadership, it's not about power, it's about something much deeper. It's about serving others, being humble.
Waiting by example.
Exactly. Empowering others, not lording over them.
That's a good point.
And it applies everywhere, not just in big companies or governments, but in our families, communities, everywhere.
Right. We can all be leaders in our own way.
Exactly. Oh, and one more thing. Remember how Jacob wanted to be buried in Canaan with his ancestors?
Yeah, he was very specific about that.
It might seem like a small detail, but it's actually about honoring your heritage.
Our roots, huh?
Yeah.
Mm.
Whether it's your family, your culture, your spiritual beliefs, those things matter. We're all part of something bigger than ourselves.
I like that.
It's like we're building on the foundation laid by those who came before us.
So how do we honor our heritage today?
Well, there are tons of ways. Learning about your family history, keeping traditions alive, exploring your cultural or spiritual roots.
Right. It's all about understanding where we come from.
Exactly. It's pretty amazing that these blessings from Jacob can still teach us so much today, right?
It really is. Legacy, self-awareness, leadership, heritage. It's all there.
Timeless wisdom.
You know, it's incredible how these blessings aren't just about one person's life.
It's bigger than that, isn't it?
It's like Jacob is giving us this framework for a whole society.
A blueprint, almost.
Yeah, for how things should work, how people should treat each other.
He's talking about leadership, responsibility, remembering where you came from.
All these things we need today, right?
Absolutely. And when those things are missing, that's when we run into problems.
Like all the conflict we see in the world.
Equality, yeah.
Environmental stuff.
All of it.
It's like we've forgotten the basics.
The things Jacob was talking about, compassion, thinking about the future.
Makes you wonder, what if we could really take these lessons to heart?
Yeah. What if everyone lived by these principles?
What kind of world would we have then?
It's an amazing thought, right? Leaders who actually care about serving others,
People taking responsibility for their actions.
working together to build something better for the next generation.
That's what I want.
Me too.
Yeah.
And it starts with each of us, right?
Making those choices every day.
Yeah, embracing those principles, even when it's hard.
That's how we change the world.
One person at a time.
I love that.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
Jacob's blessings, they're not just some dusty old text. They're alive. They're relevant.
Full of wisdom.
We can all learn something from them.
I think that's the point, right?
Yeah, it's a reminder that we're all part of this big story, this human story.
And we get to choose how we contribute to it.
What kind of mark we leave behind?
It's powerful stuff.
It is. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We hope it's giving you something to think about, something to inspire you on your own journey. Thanks for listening.